Well, we'll continue to treat all of our employees in state and local government well as well. With that, I'll entertain questions.
How does changing the requirement about union membership save the state money?
In terms of that, it ultimately saves state workers who choose not to be a part of that money. So it's one more option, it's one more flexibility they have. They choose to invoke that to offset the premium contribution increases and the contributions to the pension system.
So there's no fiscal impact in the budget?
It's all integrated, it's tied together in terms of budget.
Why should it be any different for police, fire, state inspectors? Why should union rights be any different for any of them?
Currently, we've had a long-standing tradition when it comes to fire and police service in the state of Wisconsin. The statutes are very different when it comes to a whole series of rights and responsibilities, everything from retirement all the way through. The other part is we have contingency plans to account. We don't expect this. I learned from county government in the past when it comes to emergency government and other factions, you prepare for the worst and you hope for the best. I hope and expect the best out of this, but I have contingency plans that we've been working on for months. We're prepared for related to this or anything else. We have plans to cover the state services that we provide. Those are things I don't want to take any chances on at the state, or excuse me, at the local level, and that's why it's imperative that we don't have changes when it comes to fire and police service.
Wouldn't things like people like prison guards, though, fall into the same type of category as police and fire?
The difference is I can account in my contingency plans for any actions that would take place in the state prison. I don't have the ability to do that at the local level when it comes to fire and police.
What are those contingency plans, Governor, if there is some sort of the union leaders have been talking about the possibility of job actions which restrike?
Well, for us, the bottom line is, let me be clear, I think there is a tremendous gap of difference between a handful of union leaders at the state level and the vast, vast majority of professionals who work day in and day out, state government as employees of the state government. I would expect that when they get beyond the rhetoric, they may hear from some. And in the end, when they look at what's actually in this measure, and the fact that, well, they'll be asked, just like everybody else in state government will be asked to make modest contributions for pension and health care benefits. Then in the end, when they look at things, and I've heard plenty of complaints even before taking office about furloughs, about layoffs, about other issues that tremendously irked our state employees, those do not continue under my biennial budget. And I think they look at the totality of this, and that to avoid massive layoffs, we're making modest changes in terms of what we expect from all of our employees at the state level, represented or not. I think there will be some in the union leadership at the state level who will be upset and will try and incite those individuals, but I have every confidence that the professionals who showed up yesterday and today will continue to show up. Because they understand that the choices we're making are to offset choices that I think are less positive being made in other states. New York, California, other states are looking at massive reductions that will cause layoffs of state employees, that will cause massive devastation of local governments and employees all across the board, from teachers to firefighters to police officers across the board. I think when people look at what we're offering, they'll view that as a much more viable alternative.
What is it that you talk about contingency? Talking about the National Guard, or they on alert?
We have in state government, we have had, before I take an office, plans for contingencies no matter what the circumstances. We have updated those. I got a full briefing from all the major level 1 state agencies as well as the National Guard yesterday. We are fully prepared and equipped to handle whatever may occur. So we have every confidence we can move forward on that. But again, you plan for the worst, you expect the best. And I expect from the good men and women who work for state and local government that they're going to continue to do the good professional job they do each and every day.
Are they on notice?
They are prepared, just like they are prepared at any point for responding to whatever the governor, their commander-in-chief might call for. They're fully prepared for that. They're not called up at this point, and we obviously have a whole series of circumstances that would lead to that. I'm not anticipating that. I'm not expecting that. But I want to make everyone certain in the state that I'm fully prepared for whatever may happen.
What do you say to those who say it's political payback that you exempt cops and firefighters since you got the endorsement of the Milwaukee Union and Association?
I think that's utterly ridiculous, because if I was, I'd only carve out those areas. The statewide police union, the statewide firefighter union endorsed my opponent. If I was rewarding political allies, it would be ridiculous to exempt them if that was the reason. The fact of the matter is, we did it because of a long-standing tradition. It's based on the fact that we expect, we have different expectations for our fire and police professionals. And I think long before I was here, there was an expectation that there could never be a gap in service when it comes to fire and police protection in the state. And we're making sure that that is something we can safely tell the residents of the state of Wisconsin will continue.
Why not Capitol Police? Why not East End?
Because in terms of the contingency plans that we have, they're based on interaction with local governments. The state patrol does that, as well as our local fire and police department.
Why not exempt the state police, i.e. DOJ, special agents, forensic analysts, DNR wardens, who arguably handle some of the largest cases that the state deals with?
Again, it goes back to contingency plans and how we work forward with the plans that we've set out, that were there and that we've enhanced over the last couple of months. But for us, remember, I mean, the key here is we plan for the worst case scenario, but I have every expectation that every one of our state employees are going to continue to show up and do a great professional job that they're doing. This is not taking away civil service rights. This is not altering employment. This is making changes in terms of the collective bargaining process so that we can accurately and effectively get the sort of modest changes we're talking about when it comes to health care and pension contributions. But we're not fundamentally altering working conditions or other things of that nature. And again, I have every expectation these are good, decent, professional individuals. They're going to continue to be good, decent, professional individuals working for the state and local government in the future.
How quickly will this happen?
What's that?
How quickly will this happen? How quickly will it go through the legislature?
I briefed both majority the interplay between state and local government on the hope that every jurisdiction we know there'll be some that are more likely to get it than others. Can't have the same ability to control their own destiny when it comes to local government's budgets. So this is imperative to make sure that that relationship between state and local government is strong. We've got to give them the tools to do that. And again, you know, this is something that, unless someone's been asleep or out of the country, I don't think should be a shock to anybody. It would be a shock, frankly, I think to most residents of the state if I stood here today and told you I wasn't going to do it.
Why
with union leaders?
Is that anything negotiated? Good faith negotiation requires a give and take. We are broke in this state. We've been broke for years. People have ignored that for years, and it's about time somebody stood up and told the truth. The truth is we don't have money to offer. We don't have finances to offer. This is what we have to offer. And if you're going to negotiate, you got to have something to offer. We don't have something. So we're laying it out on the table. I think anybody who's watched me over the years, I was in previous office, and at the time I campaigned, it was pretty simple. I identify the problem, I tell you what I think the solution is, and then I do it. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Got time for one more quick one?
Can you get this to the Senate?
Yes, I have no doubt both the Assembly and the Senate understand just how significant this is. They understand that this is not just some litmus test. This is ultimately saying we have a choice. We can do this, or we can see thousands of public sector employees laid out. I don't think anybody in this state, whether they work in government or not, wants any more people in this state laid off. To me, this is a much better alternative. And I think when people have time to digest what the true consequences are here, I have no doubt that both the Assembly and the Senate will pass this quickly in preparation of the next state budget. Thanks very much for your time.
Handle the cost of pension benefits, health care. There's no way we can really address the problems that we have either as a state or local level. So I think the governor's remarks are really leading to what the main issues that we've got to deal with to get our budgets under control.
That's great, thank you.